Walking around in the days for days on end. Felt like I really didn't have no friends. Till I stumbled on this truth. Now my life has new meaning. Give love, give thanks, give praise unto the Lord, 'cause He saves. You and me and you, and we should not forget that. Oh no. Give love, give thanks, give praise unto the Lord, 'cause He saves. You and me and you, and we should not forget that. Oh no. Never forget what He's done.
God is our refuge and strength, a very pleasant help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. Selah. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The heathens raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The God of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Come behold the works of the Lord, what desolation he has made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear asunder. He burneth the chariots in fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathens. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. And Selah. Peace and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. This is just such a wonderful day, and I'm so glad that you are here today with the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. And today we're going to explore a wonderful subject. It's called the bridge. I know as soon as I say it, many of you have an idea of what a bridge is. And for the most part, you are absolutely correct. It is a structure that bridges two areas, joining them together. Well, I want to take this bridge to another level. The bridge that I am thinking of is the bridge from Psalms 3:16 to Exodus 3:15. What does that mean? Well, I ask yourself, exactly what do I mean by that? Sorry, from John 3:16. John 3:16. You've probably heard this many a times. Now, I just want you to close your eyes and imagine this little scenario. Imagine you have an owner or a slave master. Yeah, we're going to go there. We're going to take you back in time. Imagine you have an owner or a slave master, or you can use whatever name you choose to. And once in a while, you are beaten by the slave master. Sometimes he mistreats you. He hardly feeds you and seldom clothes you. Not even that. The same is done to your mother, to your father, to your brother, your sister, your aunties, your uncles, your niece, your nephews, your children. On top of that, there are times when you turn around and your family member's missing because they are taken away to another community, to another plantation. Sometimes you're even moved to another plantation. And it gets really ugly. Sometimes you see your family member, those that you're really close to, die at the hand of the slave master or owner. Now, think about the slave master and what he would normally do. Once in a while, he will probably give you, out of the kindness of his heart, a day off. where you can actually congregate with your families or everybody else on the plantation, and you'll sing songs, the Negro spiritual, which are songs for the soul. This is what I want to get out. These are the songs for the soul. And on top of that, the master or slave owner, he may even come and tell you about his God. At times, he may even appoint somebody who is versed on his God to tell you more about his God. This is quite interesting. Let's say that this is happening for about 350, 400 years. And now you come to a point where you are free. You don't have to congregate and listen to the slave master's God or about the slave master's God. You no longer have to do that. You now have a degree of freedom. But what really boggles my mind is the fact that so many of our forefathers, so many of the children of slavery, so many people still hold on to that concept. Now, I can understand, excuse me, I can truly understand that once upon a time that everybody wanted to get together, because at that time, everyone wants to get together because at that time it's like a social club, so you have an opportunity to dress up, and you have an opportunity to go to the congregation gathering where you can actually see, your friends or your family that you haven't probably seen throughout the whole week, maybe the whole month. You get a chance to relax and listen to some music, people singing, even some dancing once in a while. And I understand that, you take advantage of your situation, right? So, fair enough. But seriously, why today? Why are we still having this conversation today? Why are we still seeing our forefathers, our family, people that look like you and me, people whose ancestors, whose forefathers, foremothers have gone through the same thing, have gone through this series of slavery? We're still seeing it today, that they are still sitting in the shrines we know today as the Christian church. They're still sitting there. Why? This just boggles my mind. Don't they know their history? Don't they know where this indoctrination came from? That it was not from their fathers and mothers of time past? This has nothing to do with us. And this is why I want to bring this whole idea to the bridge. Because in my mind, they are like sitting either at the beginning of the bridge, still at John 3:16, or barely on the bridge. And the worst part is, they even build their homes there. Why won't they cross? Throughout history, if you think about it, if we look at the concept of the bridge, and we think about it, throughout history, there have been many bridges, many built, and many torn down. And we are fortunate enough today, and I can't really express how fortunate we are, that we have someone who is able to build that bridge again. And I'm talking about our very own Elder Shadrach Porter. He is the bridge builder of today. And what does that mean? The bridge is such a powerful notion. When you think about the foundation of the bridge has to be solid enough to take people over to the other side. They have to understand Exodus 3:15. You know what? Let's go to Exodus 3:15 very quickly. I wasn't going to, but I think, we've come from John 3 3:16. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows John 3:16. It's in my head, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know. And I could imagine it's in your head as well. You know, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall have everlasting life. Anyways, let's go to Exodus 3:15. Because growing up, I never heard of the word Israelite. How much more the God of Israel's name? Could you imagine the God of Israel, or the God that belong to the children of Israel, has a name? And I know you've heard this many, many times from my brothers and sisters that have come up here on a Friday or a Saturday. But I think we haven't heard it enough. It doesn't matter how many times you've heard it, we just haven't heard it enough. And that's why I want to read it. And I'm actually going to start from 13. And Moses said unto God, behold. So we know the story here, and I'm sure you do. This is Moses. He's speaking to God to find out what he needs to do. He's waiting for his instructions. And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, so he's talking about going unto his own people, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers has sent me unto you. And they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, because he knows, he understands the people, he really does. I am that I am. It's almost as though, why are you asking me this? I am God. Why are you asking me this? And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. So he clarifies this a little bit further. And God said moreover unto Moses, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. Now, let's really examine that, his name. And as you know, for those that have been with us from the time we started, oh, and by the way, I just want to let you know, this is actually a very proud moment. We are currently on, YouTube, live on YouTube, and Facebook, and Twitter. Isn't that awesome? So any of those platforms, you can send your friends there if they don't like YouTube. You go to Facebook or Twitter, and you'll see us there as well. So this is a very proud moment. So those that are joining us for the first time, the God of Israel's name encompasses our forefathers. This is the patriarchs of Israel. And this is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And with each of these individuals comes a whole experience, right? You've got Abraham and everything that Abraham went through. So if you know Abraham, we're talking about his God. And Isaac, and everything that Isaac experienced, including almost being sacrificed, everything that Isaac experienced, that's his God. And Jacob, the protagonist of the 12 tribes of Israel, we're talking about his God. Could you imagine when you are talking about these individuals, you're talking about a wealth of history, a wealth of tools and arsenal behind you, a foundation that is so strong. This is the beginning of that bridge. This is the bridge. This is who we are talking of. So I just wanted to bring that forward because, as I said before, many of you have been stuck at John 3:16. Trust me, many of us have as well. We were stuck there. We were all into, oh, God loves the world and love, and everything's love, and you just get so lost. And, you know, one thing I love about this nation is that the concept of love was really understood or really expressed, really explained. And the idea that you cannot love without truth. Nobody tells you that. And how beautiful that is. Because you know what that does? It eliminates all the foolishness. It eliminates all that is false in the world. And I just want you to know that this is the beginning. When you cross that bridge, this is the beginning. We actually prepared a few books. It's I don't know if any of you know what a Talmud is, but we have our own version of the Talmud, which is really an expression of our culture. And we currently have those books. And actually, I was just sitting earlier in a cultural type discussion, and it's such a beautiful thing to know that the things that you do are the things that define you. This is what culture is. It's the things that you do that define you, that makes you who you are, that regardless of what's happening in the world, you can hold tight to that and keep your integrity. That to me is such a beautiful thing. We keep the laws, the statutes and commandments. We have our Sabbath days, our new moons. We have our feast of unleavened bread, our Passover. We have our feasts for our children, cycles. We have circumcision. This is all part of the culture. And it's something that is binding, and it keeps us focused on who we are. So everything that we do with purpose. So when our children are born, when our little boys are born, on the 8th day, they are named and they are circumcised according to the traditions of our forefathers, starting with Abraham, starting with the God of Israel's name right at the beginning. So this is how we bring them into the world, so that they know, they can tell you as they get older what it is that is done for them. What it is that's done for them. And even if they don't remember what was done to them, they would know, because they will see that their brothers and their sisters and cousins and, they've all gone through the same thing. This is how you build a culture. There's a similarity. Everybody understands the same thing. They look forward to the same things. The children's talking about Purim and talking about New Year's. Everybody's excited about New Year's. These are exciting times for us. We don't have to get lost in the world and, think about the times that's coming up now. I'm not going to mention it because I don't feel like it today. But we can focus on the things that make us happy and our God happy. And it gives us a joy, and it just makes us so happy to know that we are serving the true and living God, and there is no other like unto him, because this is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And if you know this God, if you can feel this in your heart, if you can feel this in your soul, if this resonates with you, put the fires in the chat, put them in there, and make sure that you share this video after. And after me, we're going to have such a wonderful time with our priest Tyrone, who's going to come up after me, and he's going to go into this a little bit more. But I just feel that, growing up as a child, you are just lost in everything. And, you can actually, sometimes you're upset or sad because everybody else seems to be doing stuff, but it doesn't really resonate with you, right? So they're getting ready for their little celebrations, but it doesn't resonate with you because it's not yours, right? But this is ours. This is our culture. And the only way we can make sure that this culture is everlasting, that it will be like the covenants that we have with our Father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, is by keeping it, is by setting the example. Because nobody else is going to come and say to you, oh, you're not supposed to be doing that. Oh, you should be doing it this way. Or they shouldn't be telling you that. They should not. You should be the leader. You should be telling them, no, I will not do this. I will take this time off so I can worship and celebrate my God. That's what you should be doing, because the only way you can do that is when you understand your culture. And even though, as we said earlier on today, during that discussion, that, we're in the young days, right? We're claiming back what's ours. But in order for it to stand strong, we have to claim it and protect it as much as we can. And I want to go into a few stories that will actually emphasize this. First of all, let's go to Matthew 7 to 14. Culture is just such a... I've never really understood the importance of culture. I never really understood it until I started to read about what makes us different. Culture falls into identity. Culture says, I am somebody, right? I'm not just a person living, next door to somebody else. I am somebody. I am an Israelite. That sounds so beautiful on my mouth. My children are Israelites. My husband is an Israelite. My brethren are Israelites. That sounds to me glorious, and knowing that the God of Israel has surnamed us, that he has given us that name. And as many people that are out there that have all kinds of interpretation of whatever the name is, that's their business. All I know is that we are following what's in this book. And what is written about us, the Israelites. And Elder Shadrach, he's been teaching the same message from day one. And the funny thing is, we all teach the same message. And that's so beautiful to hear when I'm listening to my brethren and I can actually resonate with what they're saying, because it's like, yeah, that's right. That's so cool. That's so true. Because we're saying the same thing. No one's saying something that's completely out of field. Anyways, let's go to, where did I say? Matthew 7, starting from 7. And you know what? Some people may ask, so, okay, the bridge. So how do I get there? What do I need to do? I say, how badly do you want it? Anyways, let's start. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? So right here we can establish that the God of Israel, or the whole notion of the relationship, is father, children. This is the relationship. The God of Israel, he delights in us. And you will hear that later on. He delights in his children. And we have grieved him so many times. And it's for us to turn around and look towards that bridge, look towards that place, so that we can start that journey. That journey is there for us. If we really want it, we would ask. If we truly want it, we would ask, and it will be given. This is what it's saying here. I'm reading from 12. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. So, and I've always heard this growing up, do unto others as you expect them to do unto you. And this is just to look at it in a broader sense. You treat people with respect if you want to be treated with respect. More often, I do agree that some people do need to earn their respect. But you understand what I'm trying to say. You do what, if you're mean to people, don't expect everybody to be generous to you. Right? Okay. Enter ye, and this is the part that I want to get into. And even though this is not so much the bridge itself, you have to understand that, the bridge is also a path. It's also a journey. It's also a destination. somewhere where you need to go to. You know, this particular bridge is talking about moving from where you are, from that John 3:16, and I'm going to be referencing this a lot. From John 3:16 to Exodus 3:15, we need to be moving from there to there, understanding who we are. It's a path. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So, what am I saying? The path is not for everyone. And more often than not, the travelers are few. The journey is long. But for everyone else, and this is why we separate ourselves, we have to. We are not like everybody else. Everybody else is going the same way. It looks so trendy. It's so cool. Everybody wants to go there. You know, it's nice and wide. The gates are big. Everything's probably really glowing and lots of sparkles. And that's where everybody's going. And I can tell you that because you look at every culture in this world and you see there are so many similarities. And those similarities are contrary to what we do. So everything that's contrary is on the other side. It's on that road. Everything that we do, it's unique, it's different, it's special. You know, the God of Israel, he didn't choose the world. He chose a remnant. He chose a small remnant, not even a remnant. You know what a remnant is? He chose a small remnant. That's even less. Anyways, let's go on to, this is a nice story. This is a nice story. And the reason why I want to go to this one in particular is because this is the only life that we have, that we know of. This is it. And we can't squander it. And we don't know how long it's going to be. In my mind, it's a blip. It's very small. And, you know, just you being here actually says to me that you want something better in your life. And I truly, honestly believe that. When you try to help yourself by listening to this, especially, listen to the stories of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, and all those that played in building this nation and building our community and our Israelite nation, it tells me that you want something better in your life. And what I want to tell you by reading this story is to consider it now if you haven't done already. And even those who are on the bridge, consider moving so that you start to get over on the other side. Consider taking the culture of Israel, our Israelite culture, seriously. Consider the things that you do and be an example unto all the nations, which is what we're supposed to be. You know, not everybody can teach, but it doesn't mean you can't be an example. You can be an example to the world. You see, the children, they are examples to their peers. The teachers know they're different. This is how we have to be. But the time is now to seize that moment. And for those that are new, as I said before, you can click on the link below and you can sign up and somebody will call you or, you know, message you to help you to understand more. Maybe you have questions, or maybe you want to join a Bible session or something. So click on that link. So let's go to, let me see, Luke 16. Luke 16, 19. Okay, so this is a nice little story, but like I said, the purpose of this is for you to move now, for action now, because there is no time like the present. There is none. And sometimes you may feel like, oh, you know, you're not ready. Really consider the quality of your life, the integrity of your life. Because being a part of this nation, knowing that we have the greatest God of all, is such an exhilarating thought. There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. So we know, like, purple and linen, he was pretty well off. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which laid at his gate, full of sores. Now, like I've always said it, I'm a very visual person, so you got to put that into perspective, so you can see this big guy, he's in his purple and he's walking up and down, and it's probably decked with jewelry, and then there's Lazarus, he's sitting at the gate and he's got all these sores, and he's looking so lowly and beggarish, and it's just so sad. So you've got a huge dichotomy here, something completely different. And desiring to be fed. So it's not just he's just sitting there with sores. This is a really sad situation, because he's desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. This is sad. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. So he was in the worst possible situation. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom, not to heaven. But let's not go there. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torment, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. So you could imagine, it's like, hold on a sec, you wake up on the other side, and you look at yonder, far out there, and the guy that used to sit at your gates is now being cuddled and, taken care of, looked after. And you're not there. You think all that riches you had was for what? What was it for? What is anything for if you don't have the God of Israel? And he cried and said, so he knows this person, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his fingers in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. So he's been tormented, and he's asking, there's a connection here, there's a kindred spirit here. This is family. This is family again. People look at the rich man and think, oh, he must be somebody else, but this is family. Father Abraham, he's calling out to. But Abraham said, Son, hear that? Father, son, remember that thou in thy lifetime received thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. Remember that. Our elder always says, you need to have a good memory. And trust me, that is something that should not be taken for granted. Because when you have a good memory, you will remember where you came from, you remember where you are, and hopefully you will know where you're going. But if you don't remember where you came from, that would be a tough test. And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed. So what I'm saying here, and this is why I'm reading this, there is no more an opportunity to cross the bridge. There is no more an opportunity to keep the culture. There is no more an opportunity to keep a Sabbath day or a new moon. There is no more an opportunity to break bread with brethren. There is no more an opportunity to be together. There is no more an opportunity to make right the wrongs that has happened in your life. There is no more that opportunity. And that's why it is now. Now is the time. Because by this time, there is no more bridge. So that they which pass from hence to you cannot. I'll read that again. And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from hence. Then he said, I pray thee, this is the rich man now. Then he said, I pray thee, therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send Lazarus to my father's house. For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. You see the mind of the people? Look, he's on the other side, and you see the mind of the people? He thinks that sending a ghost, Lazarus, sending a ghost will, get them all jimmy up and, oh yes, I'm going to turn to the God of Israel because I'm seeing a ghost. Doesn't work like that, my friend. It does not. Abraham said unto him, listen, they have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them. Who is Moses and the prophets? And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. Are you crazy? That is insane. I don't want no one to send any ghost to me anytime for any reason. Thank you very much. And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded through the one raised from the dead. If they can't hear Moses and the prophets, they're not going to listen to anyone that comes from the dead. That's a fact. And you may be sitting there, it's like, Officer Charmaine, what are you talking about? Moses and the prophets, they're all gone. I say to you, no. Look, this book speaks of Moses and the prophets, and it's there. And unfortunately, or fortunately, not everyone can teach this. You have to be part of the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. There are people that will hold this book and run around and call out Yah and Jah and Yahoo and Yellow, what's it, Elohim, and that's not in this book. I can tell you that. I'm an Israelite and I can see what's here. I've read things and, you got in brackets, Yahushua, and it's not in here. I guarantee you. And then you've got other people that will take the same book and run around and say, oh yes, Jesus is God, Jesus is God. I can tell you again, because we read it in Exodus 3:15, Jesus is not God. Now that is funny. To me, that is hilarious. Now, and I tell you, they are lying to you. And there are others that will take the same book and say that Jesus was born on the 25th of December. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. There was a lesson that was done a few weeks ago. The lies that people tell. This book is so plain, but only an Israelite can actually teach it to you. And that's why it's important to go to an Israelite. Because we understand who Moses is and we understand who the prophets are. Last week there was a lesson on the Zion train. Getting on the train. So this is the same concept. You got the Zion train, you got the bridge. This is the time, because after this time, who is to say? But I'll tell you one thing. The rich man, his fate was not very good. Even though he had lots of money. It's more than money. We have to look at the spiritual things, not the physical things. The physical things will not get us what we need. Even though it may seem that way, it will not get you to salvation. It will not allow you to be part of that covenant. And it will definitely not allow you to cross that bridge. you need to seek the Israelite nation. You need to seek the Israelites. You need to seek the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. You need to seek our forefathers. And they are all written about in this book. And this is why I'm looking or focusing on the bridge, because as I said before, the bridge is about our culture. It's about who we are. It's about claiming that. It's about crossing over so you don't get bitten by those snakes and those vipers. You know, you might want to take the shortcut and, walk through the waters or the miry clay or the whatever is there underneath the bridge. You might want to take that shortcut. You might end up drowning. You might be, bitten by a snake or something poisonous. You might fall into Christianity, God forbid. It's a sad state. There are so many pits out there. There's so many philosophies that have pits, that's waiting, that's empty, that's hungry for you. But what are you going to do? As I said before, today you can decide. I want to go to Acts 7. And the reason why I think Acts 7 shows a wonderful reflection of the covenant that we have between us and the God of Israel, and how our forefathers have managed to cross their own bridges during their time. Let's go to Acts 7. Now, this is a lengthy chapter. Oh, yes, it is. It's such a good one, and I probably won't get through all of it, but I want to give you an idea of what one of our righteous forefathers had to go through. Defending our culture, defending us, defending our culture. Remember that. And Stephen, he's like one of those that helped to reinforce the bridge. So this is after, this is after Jesus the Christ, after the death and resurrection. This is, several individuals that they're being chosen. They're following the apostles. They're listening to the apostles. The Spirit of God is moving on many of them because they're a pure in heart. They're righteous. They want to know what it is that they need to do in order to claim this inheritance, to make it true to them. Because, we are the one that uplifts our Father, the God of Israel. We are the one that make the world know who he is, through our actions. And it was our very actions that stopped people from calling upon him and believing in him and worshiping him. It's our own actions. Now we have the task of calling our forefathers, our brothers and sisters back to the God of Israel. And it's a beautiful job when you know about the God of Israel and when you know of the things that he can do for you and has done for you. Then said the high priest, "Are these things so?" So what's happened here? There's a crowd of people that's around Stephen at this particular time. So again, just imagine this. Imagine like a marketplace, and there's a crowd of people around him, and there's a few people within the crowd that are troublemakers. We have another word for them in England, but I won't use that. They're troublemakers, and they are accusing Stephen of blasphemy, of telling lies, of against the Holy Spirit. It's like, that in itself is bad. You're going to, lie on a brethren, because they're brethren. Remember that. This is family again. Sad, but that's what it is. And he said, "Men, brethren, and fathers, hearken. The God of glory appeared unto our father." So this is Stephen speaking after the high priest is questioning him. Are these things so? You've been telling lies. You've been doing all these different things. You've been, turning your back on the Holy Spirit. Are these things so? And he's like, come on already. Come on. I am Israel. And he's like, let me lay it out for you. And he said, men, brethren, and fathers, hearken. The God of glory appeared unto our father Abraham. So look, I know the stories of our forefathers. Listen to this. Our father Abraham, when he was in Mesopotamia, before he dwelt in Charan, and he said unto him, get thee out of thy country. So he's going way back in time. Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, and come into the land which I shall show thee. So if you didn't know anything about Israel, this to me is a nice summary of what took place. But don't just read this. Go way back to Genesis and see what our marvelous Father has done. Because the God of Israel, he is the greatest. He is the best God ever. And I am so happy and grateful that I know his name. This was given to us by our elder Shadrach. Nobody has used his name before. Everybody's used a variation or what they think is a name. But Elder Shadrach, he showed it to us. Look, turn to Exodus 3:15. You'll see his name. That is just such a powerful thing. You had the words, the names of the most powerful God on the tip of your tongue. Anyways. And he said unto him, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, and come into the land which I shall show thee. Then came he out of the land of the Chaldeans and dwelt in Charan. And from hence, when his father was dead, he removed him into this land, wherein ye now dwell. And he gave him none inheritance in it, no, not so much as set his foot on. Yet he promised that he would give him for possession and to his seed after him, when as yet he had no child. So we understand that Abraham was being promised all this stuff. And not only did he have no child, he was up there, he was way up there, Today it probably wouldn't even be possible. Actually, you know what? A lot of things are possible today. Anyways, but what I'm saying is, he was way up there. He was well stricken in age, and he had no children. But yet still, he's been promised all these great things. Now, this is what I love about this book, because it talks about the faith, the faith of man and the faith that the men had, and women for that matter. And he gave him none inheritance. Okay. And God spake on this wise, that his seed should also sojourn. This is a very interesting one. This one is very interesting because you've got to listen very carefully. And God spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil 400 years. It's amazing, because when you listen to this, remember when Israel went into Egypt the first time, they were not bondmen and bondwomen. They went into Egypt as free men and women. Remember that. So that's not the enslavement that is spoken of here. And the nations to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said God. And after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place. And he gave him the covenant of circumcision. What did we speak about right at the beginning? The bridge, the covenant between Israel and the God of Israel. This is where it started, with the covenant of circumcision. So those that lie to you and tell you that, circumcision is done away with and all you got to do is be nice and happy and, it's all about the hearts. Think again, because remember, we are talking culture, and this is an integral part of our culture. This is not something you negotiate. This is non-negotiable. Circumcision is a must. And so Abraham begat Isaac and circumcised him the 8th day, as I said before. And Isaac begat Jacob and begat the 12 patriarchs. And the patriarchs, so remember, we spoke about this before, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all their history and all their story is embedded in the God of Israel's name. So every time you say his name, you would remember our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and why they had to go through what they had to go through. This is all it does. That to me is so clever. You're not going to have a name that, is just, the name has such profound meaning, such profound substance. And so when you say it, you are saying it with a weight, with a force, with everything that's around you. You are saying that name. That is very powerful. So when everybody wants to shorten it or to call it somebody else, call the name something else, they're not talking about this God. Maybe they don't have the substance that it requires them to say it. Who knows? They're not worthy. Maybe. Who knows? But what I'm saying is, when you know this name, it's something to hold on to for dear life. Where was I? Okay, number 7. And the nations to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said God. And after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place. And he gave him the covenant of circumcision. So Abraham begat Isaac and circumcised him the 8th day. And Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat the 12 patriarchs. And the patriarchs, moved with envy, sold Joseph. So this is fast tracking. This is what's happening. So when you know that you got Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, this is the story. This is the storyline. So they moved with envy, the 12 brothers, and sold Joseph into Egypt. But God was with him and delivered him out of all his afflictions and gave him favor and wisdom in the sight of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And he made him governor over Egypt and all his house. So it's not like the slavery that we've gone through. This is a situation where Joseph, he's been set up very nicely. And now, now there came a dearth over all the land of Egypt and Canaan. Oh, this is Canaan. And great afflictions, and our fathers found no sustenance. But when Jacob heard that there was corn in Egypt. So, have you read the book? I hope you have. I'm talking about the spirit of Egypt in America. Because when you look at it, what's come to my mind immediately is that Egypt back then was the powerhouse, was the center. It was the center of the world back then. Just as America is the center of the world today. Everybody comes to America. Everybody does trade with America. Your country is nothing unless you have something with America, unless America says so. That's just the reality. Regardless of the politics behind everything that's going on, the fact is America is the place, the breadbasket. This is the place where everybody wants to come to, immigrate to, what have you, right? And that's what Egypt was back in its day. So that's how powerful Egypt was. Yes, okay. And at that second time, so I'm at 13, and at that second time, Joseph was made known to his brethren, and Joseph's kindred was made known unto Pharaoh. Then sent Joseph and called his father Jacob to him. And all, you have to read that story, it's very good. And all his kindred. So all his family came into Egypt. So Jacob's called everybody into Egypt. Joseph's called everyone into Egypt. And there was 70 souls. 70, a score is 20. So 20, 40, 60, and 15, 75. So 75 people went into Egypt. So Jacob went down into Egypt and died, he and our fathers, and were carried over Shechem and laid in the sepulchre that Abraham bought for a sum of money of the sons of Emor, the father of Shechem. So again, this is very important because look at this. This is all part of the culture. Here you see that Abraham had already secured a place for his children, for his family, for those to come. And when the first lot died, they were taken back to that place and buried there. But when the time of the promise drew nigh, which God had sworn to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt, till another king rose, which knew not Joseph. So if we read the story of Joseph, we knew that he did wonderful things. He interpreted all of Pharaoh's dreams. He even became Pharaoh, or like a father unto Pharaoh. He was second in charge. He was the man to speak to back in those days. But then rose another king who didn't even know him. The same dwelt subtly with our kindred, and evil entreated our fathers, so that they cast out their young children to the end that they might not live. So you have to read those stories, but this is just a summary. The children suffered because of this new king that did not know them. Suffered to the point of dying. And this is the time of Moses. Remember Moses and the prophets? In which time Moses was born and was exceeding fair and nourished up in his father's house 3 months. And when he was cast out, Pharaoh's daughter took him. So casting out, many died. Many of the children died. They were killed. But you know the story of Moses. Moses' mother, they got a little basket. They put Moses in there. His sister watched over the basket as it went down the river. Pharaoh's daughter found the basket, saw the baby, and was happy because she looked at him and said, "Oh my goodness, this is an Israelite." Anyways, I'm sure it wasn't done exactly like that, but how did she know? Come on. Circumcision, yes. No, it wasn't the little blanket that had the little blue weaved in that you saw in that 10 Commandments movie. No, it had nothing to do with that. The little boy was circumcised, so she knew. Okay. I'm always losing where I am. Okay. So I'm at 20. In which time Moses was born and was exceeding fair and nourished up in his father's house 3 months. And when he was cast out, Pharaoh's daughter took him up and nourished him for her own son. And Moses was learned, so he was schooled in this. Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was mighty in words and deeds. So Moses grew to be a great man. And when he was 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel. So he knew, and this is the beauty. You read this and everybody knows that Moses knew who he was. It wasn't a surprise. Moses knew who he was. And seeing one of them suffer wrong, he defended him and avenged him that was oppressed and smote the Egyptian. So he smote that which was supposed to be his own people, which was not. The Egyptian was not his people. Israel was his people. And so he killed the Egyptian because of what he was doing to his brethren, the Israelites. For he supposed his brethren would have understood how that God by his hand would deliver them, but they understood not. When I read about this, I remember that, during the time of the insurrection with Nat Turner and Gabriel Prosser and I don't remember the other guy, but each of these guys, they were betrayed by their own. They were betrayed. They were happy to be in the situation they were in. They couldn't even fathom something better. Moses, the deliverer, he's trying to deliver one of his brethren, and hey, you killed an Egyptian. And the next day he showed himself unto them as they strove, and would have set them one again, saying, Sirs, ye are brethren. Why do ye wrong to one another? But he that did his neighbor wrong thrust him away, saying, Who made thee a ruler and judge over us? Oh boy. Wilt thou kill me as thou did the Egyptian yesterday? Wow. So, this story is such a good story. But what I wanted to get to, the foundation of the bridge, you have to continue to read it because my time is up and I want you to hear my dear priest Tyrone because he's got a lot to say on this. But what I wanted you to see, Stephen, he took this to another level to the point whereby, he was in the spirit and they still stoned him. Even though his words were pure and righteous and it was talking about what they already knew and the foundation of this nation, the bridge, he was talking to them about everything that they knew and they stoned him. They stoned him until he died, until he slept. That was the term that was used. And it was just such a sad moment. But brethren, I just want to tell you it was an honor and a pleasure to be here today. And I pray this day that you will find your way to that bridge, not just to it, but over it and across it. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
Hello. I hope you are enjoying our program so far. We are so thrilled you have decided to join us for today's event. If this is your first time, go ahead and hit that subscription button and don't forget to click the notification bell so that you can stay up to date on all of our upcoming videos. Also, please like, comment, and share our videos. We truly appreciate it. We are so passionate about sharing our Israelite culture, and we welcome your generosity in helping us to reach more people. So please feel free to leave us donations. If you are thinking about joining us and would like to learn more, fill out the form in the description below, and one of our team members from the Welcome Committee will be in contact with you shortly. I thank you for your time and look forward to seeing you soon. And with that, I bid you peace, love, truth, prosperity, and power.
Wow, thank you very much, Officer Charmaine. That was great, just to kick off the subject matter for today of the bridge. Now, before I go into the extended version, because what you have to understand, brethren, friends, and guests, is that this is all one message. It's not two separate messages. I'm just going to be velcroing on to Officer Charmaine about the bridge. But first of all, I have to please thank everybody for joining us this afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. We are streaming across for the first time, as Officer Charmaine said, across 3 platforms. That's YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And please bear with us. We've got some technical difficulties, but we are making the best that we can of this particular situation, and we are streaming across all 3 platforms. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share across all the boards, please. It would greatly help us to get this message of the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries out to all who can see us in Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Great celebration time. Please fire up that chat room if you're in all 3, if you've shared, commented, and if you liked. Thank you very much. Officer Charmaine said some really profound things, and what she said and the juice of her story is that that bridge has been overlooked for many years. The bridge, the people that make up that bridge to bring this message over to you, they have been, at worst, completely killed. They've been stoned, they've been mocked, they've been brutalized, they've been stripped of anything human, they've been just put down to the lowest part, been put in dungeons. Poor Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Stephen, they stoned Stephen. I mean, that is a very heart-wrenching story. When you read the story of Stephen, whilst they were killing him, he was still reaching out to our God on our Father's behalf. And that should really make you feel warm and but sad at the same time, but yes, happy that the God of Israel, he still has men like that who is willing to teach us his way. Now the bridge, as Officer Charmaine said, is something very significant that we ought to really understand. The bridge. What is the bridge? It's coming from one section, crossing over to the other section. And it's very important to understand that, because oftentimes when we've found ourselves at the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, our fathers, and I'm speaking about our fathers being even our elder Shadrach, our elder Kastrilli, and even our elder Michael, who was there in the beginning to teach this and bring this out to us, are often overlooked and not understood that they helped and they were bringing over this word by even our forefathers, even our father Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, even surnamed Israel. And that's a hard thing, because they brought this message out to us. They were helping us over the bridge from where? From darkness into light. Crossing over that bridge, that boundary. Officer Charmaine read the story in Luke 16 about the rich man and Lazarus. Same thing. There was a great gulf fixed between them, a bridge that could not be crossed. You see, once you've now decided to live your physical life on the other side of the bridge, don't expect now in the spiritual time, when you're now doing your spiritual time, as it were, to be in a nice and happy, wealthy place. No. You are now to stay where you stayed in the physical, in the spiritual. You see, if you toil in the physical against and for our God and fight against the other side, you will reap the rewards when you sleep with your fathers across the other bridge now in the place where in Abraham's bosom. Now you're welcomed in. Now you are welcomed in. But you have to work. There has to be work. Lazarus suffered, as Officer Charmaine said. He suffered greatly. As she said, he had evil in his life. But now he was able to be welcomed in into lovely, some nice fruits and vegetables and nice raiment. He's wearing the gold and a nice tie. I don't know if it's a tie. A nice robe. A nice gown. Now he lives. All his sores, his cuts, his bruises that he had whilst he lived on earth is now gone. Now he lives in peace in the arms of his fathers. It's something to think about. Something to think about. There is a bridge we all must cross, but like our elder Shadrach said, some like to build their bridge or build their home on the bridge. Not cross over. They're just, okay, I'm here now. And they just set up shop on the bridge. Now, I want to go back just a little bit. I'm going to get into some scriptures, and I didn't want to go into this part because I was trying to avoid it, but Elder Andor said, no, you're going to do it, and he's right. I am going to have to do it. When our fathers came upon that Red Sea, and I did speak about it before, but I have to go into it again and just really expand even more from what I've read. When our fathers was at the Red Sea, and Moses and the God of Israel said, why criest unto me? What's that in your hand? And he raised up the staff and parted the sea. And our fathers walked through on dry ground. That is a bridge, if you will. That is a bridge that we walked across. We were going and leaving darkness. We were leaving turmoil, pain, death, and most of all, other gods that our God hated, the worship of other gods. We left that all behind. Our fathers were walking through forward on a bridge of dry ground in the midst of the sea. Now, look at it in today's terms. How many bridges do you see go over water? What does it typify? Bridges that go over the water from one to the other. Again, they take everything has been taken from our book and from the life of an Israelite. The experiences of our fathers. Dry ground. You can't travel on a bridge to go, say, from one part of New York to the other, the Manhattan Bridge or Staten Island. You can't go on water. No, there's a bridge and it's dry. Same thing with us. We walked through the bridge in the Red Sea on dry ground. That is significant. And I'm going to go a bit more into that as the scriptures go on. But it's important. It's important to understand why you must cross that bridge and what happens if you go back. When going backwards, what happens to you? You see, you're going to go back to nothing more than exactly what you came for times 10. Because as Jesus the Christ gave the parable, he said, when a man comes and cleans out his home, and he's able to overpower, and the strong man overpowers that other man, and he leaves. If the man comes back and finds the house empty, he will go and call 10 more or 10 times worse than himself to this home. You can never leave now. I got you. You left it open. You came back to the bridge where it was filthy and it was nasty and dirty, and that's now become your permanent place of residence. As our elder Shadrach said, you didn't move on the bridge. You built your home on the bridge, and you were empty. The bridge is for you to go across onto the other side into prosperity. Now, what is that? How do we get across that bridge? Is it enough, as our elder Shadrach said, and our elder Andals have said, and even Officer Charmaine today, to say, I am an Israelite, and that's it? I'm just an Israelite. You know, I'm happy. Hello, everybody. And you walk in and you walk out. It's not enough. You've got to build in. After you've crossed over, you've got to build the house of our God. You walk over the bridge. You've done such great things. You've now come through. You've supped with us. You've run through the Red Sea, as it were, baptism. You've been salted. You've been made clean. Now you've gone through. Now you're on the other side. What do? Do you now retract and decide I'm just going to stay? Or do you build, help build, say, now we're here. We're on the other side. We've got to the side where our Father said, let's fight and build the home. You see, when we went over and we crossed the Red Sea, it wasn't all fun and games. We had to fight. The men of war had to go and fight up against 7 nations greater than us and build the house of our God. That's what we had to do. We had to fight. It wasn't a walk in the park, as we say in the UK. It wasn't that. We had to fight. But we needed to understand why we're fighting for, because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Now, what are those things? Let's read in. So I want to go to my first scripture for the day, and if we can turn to the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, and I'm going to read from verse 16 straight down into 35. So Isaiah chapter 34, and I'm going to read from verse 16, and it reads as thus. Seek ye out the book of the Lord and read. And it's kind of pause. There's a pause. Seek ye out the book of the Lord and read. What's that? Is that the book of Enoch, the book of Edras, the book of all these books, the book of the dead? No. This very same book we're reading. Seek ye out the book of the Lord and read. But wait, no one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it had gathered them. When you read this book and you begin to understand what it says inside, you are going to say, what? I cannot be with a man now or a woman now that's worshiping other gods. I don't want that. I cannot be with a man that is uncircumcised. I don't want that. Or a woman, even uncircumcised of the heart. Inside, wanting all other foolishness. We don't circumcise girls. Disclaimer, we don't do that. That's not the Israelite nation. We follow according to the rules. As Officer Charmaine said, our boys on the 8th day circumcised and named according to the rules and the law given down unto us by our fathers. That is it. You wouldn't want them. Let's read on. His spirit shall gather them. You see, when you begin to read the book of our God and his spirit of truth begins to move, and I'm not talking about you were just there and you're speaking to Ashimawala, I don't know, someone, some pastor, which camera am I? Okay, some pastor around town. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Israelite nation worldwide ministries. That's what I'm talking about. The spirit that's with our elder Shadrach and this nation speaks to you, you will hear it and you will come. Jesus the Christ said, my sheep hear my voice. They know me and they follow me. If you don't hear, then it's too bad for you, my friends. If you don't understand what elder Shadrach has been teaching, too bad for you, my friends. Maybe it wasn't for you, as elder Andrew said, hey, it wasn't for you. But if you hear the voice of our God speaking through the Spirit, his Spirit of truth, through our elder Shadrach, then you will come and you will follow him. Let's read on. And he hath cast the lot for them, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein. Do you understand what I'm saying? That means that once I've got you already, and this word that you have now discovered and you've read by my spirit, you will pass this down to your generation. Don't leave it. And just like our fathers, poor Josiah, he goes and he finds the book. Oh, what's happening? Oh my gosh. All these years we've been eating swine. We've been reveling in pork. We've been reveling in all these things. We've been worshipping foolish gods. Oh my gosh. Ezra, Nehemiah, let's build back the gates of let's build back the temple of our God. What's going on? Oh my gosh, look what we had. The J wasn't passed down. Our culture, we had a very good discussion with a young princess of this nation, with the council members, and it was so good to share the culture, to impart that she and even her husband-to-be, may I speak so forwardly, will be keeping the culture of this nation. That is important. Passed down, so now when they have their children as husband and wife, according to how our elder Shadrach has taught us by his spirit of our God, that will never be forgotten. Never. Passed down. What is that? You're keeping the lifeline, the bridge of this nation alive. That means we can walk across. It cannot be forgotten. It's strong. This is how you go. You want to get married? This is the process. You need this? This is the process. This is how you have to go. Don't be backstroking, looking backward. This is the line. It's done. It's very important. These small scriptures opens up so much wealth of food you could eat and speak for days. Let's read on. Chapter 35, verse 1, the same. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. Why? Why? Tell me why. Because you know why? You've now found the book. You found the laws of our God. You're keeping the laws, the statutes, and the judgments. His bridge. This is the way. I'm coming somewhere. I'm building somewhere. You found it. There is nothing but prosperity in your land. How could you dry up? There is our father David said it. I have been young and now I'm old. Yet have I not seen the children of who? God forsaken, nor their seed begging bread. Why? Because they've passed down the book, the laws, the generation, the bridge, the knowledge, the wisdom, understanding. This is my son. Take heed to my ways, as our father Solomon, King Solomon said. Take heed to my ways, my son. Listen to my voice of my instruction. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what it says. Let's read on. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice, even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it, the excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of the Lord and the excellency of our God. Look at that. Look at that. You keep that law, statutes, and his judgments. You keep in it the bridge that you have to cross. Do you understand? And there's a reason why I said that you're able to cross the bridge. I'm going to come to the reason why can you cross this bridge? Why can your mother, who doesn't believe, not cross this bridge? Why can your father, even your own children, why can't they cross that bridge? Why? There's a reason, because it's a bridge, right? If you go to, the Niagara Falls, you've got to cross one bridge and go over there. Everybody can go. Everybody can go. Let's see why they cannot cross the bridge. But you who hear the voice of the Israelite nation, worldwide ministries, and the voice of our elder Shadrach, crying out, 35 years, our elder Kestreli said. That's a long time. 6 cycles. And you're here in the 7th. Let's read on. And it says, verse 3, strengthen ye the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that of a fearful heart, be strong. Fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense. He will come and save you. Oh my gosh, this is what we ought to be telling each other. Not slandering and pulling one down and this one destroying this one down and saying you and pointing the finger and the hissing of the teeth. Aha, aha. Do you understand? This is our people. Listen to what we do. The hissing of the teeth. There's only one people on the earth that kiss their teeth. That's what it is. It's us. I've not heard other people. It's us. The children of Jacob and the Israelites have kissed their teeth. That's what they're talking about. So you know he's talking about you. That's not what he's saying. He said, stay to them. So I should say to Teacher Brian, I should say to Lennox. I should say to Lennox. I should say to Lewis. I should say to Elder, the professor, sorry, Elder Michael. I should say to Officer Charmaine and Elder Andor, what do you say to them? Be strong. Fear not, for our God is with us. That's what you say to them. That's how you encourage them. That's how you build the unity and the bridge of this nation so that one links the other. You form a human bridge, spiritual. You cannot be penetrated. You cannot be penetrated. Let's read on. The eyes of the blind shall be opened and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Imagine that. You say that with the unity of your brethren standing together on that bridge, which is what? The obedience, the instruction of our God of what to do. This is what will happen to us. This is we're reading about the salvation of our God right now. You have to listen to what I'm saying. Listen. Oh, and it says on, then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert, and the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water in the habitation of dragons, where each lay shall be grass with reeds and rushes. Look at that. Look at that. Who doesn't want that in their life? Who doesn't want that? But you've got to be able to listen to the instruction to cross over on that bridge. Don't build your home on the bridge. If that means you stopped. That means you just decided to take root and stop. But the journey hasn't finished. You've got to get to the other side. You see, let's go again in Luke 16. Lazarus didn't stop. He continued wherever he's in his state of dogs licking up sores. Do you know, all kind of disease in it, but he kept going until where he crossed the bridge, no man can cross over. Our father Abraham said, nay, Lazarus, nay, rich man. No, there is a great gulf fixed, this bridge, that those that is here can't go there. You there can't come here. It's simple. Great gulf fixed. Which bridge do you want? Which side of the bridge do you want to be on? Because I'm telling you, you'll come to a time where it'll be maybe too late. Too late. Because as Officer Charmaine said, he said, please send over one from the dead. Look at that. You know that's children of Jacob and Israel. I need to see his spirit, and then I'll believe. God of Israel, show me. How many times do people show me God of Israel? I need a sign. What sign do you need? One from the dead? Even that won't even stir your mind. So do it now. Know where you're standing now, in today, on which side of the bridge. Let's read on. Verse 8. Now, this is where I'm getting to. It says, and an highway shall be there. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, this is a sweet scripture. When I read it, I love this scripture. I actually fell in love with this particular scripture. It says, and an highway shall be there. Once you've done these things, it didn't say after you cuss out your brethren, after you stamp on their foot, after you don't feed them like the rich man, you didn't clothe him, you're going to be okay. That's not what he said. He said, encourage them. Fear not, God is our God. You're with them. You see the prosperity hanging up around you. Now look what's before you. And an highway shall be there, and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness. Now you come to the degree or the level where you've now leveled up within yourself. Now the way, now you walk this way. You've worked with your brethren. You built the nation. You're building the nation. Do you understand the bridge you're crossing? Do you understand? This is a significant place where you will be positioning yourself only through obedience and listening to what our God has said throughout the shadow and the counsel of what they've said, how you ought to do it. Read it. It says now, this is my favorite part. My favorite part is this. Let me start again. And an highway shall be there. Remember I opened up and I said the highway through the Red Sea, that bridge that we crossed. You don't know what it looked like. It said it was dry ground. That could have been paved with gold. It could have been walking nice. Nice, it's dry. Okay, man, I like this, man. And then it shall be called the way of holiness. Now, this is my favorite. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men, though fools shall not err therein. I love that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That means our God is oh, the scriptures, no one can tell me the scriptures are not together. They are fools who say that. It's showing you when they went and they crossed over the Red Sea and that highway was made through, that bridge was made through. What happened to the Egyptians that thought that they were full of themselves coming to onto, oh yeah, we can go through too. Uncircumcised, both physically and spiritually. Worship other gods, unclean. Worshipping all kind of things that was made prepared for holy people, because it said the way of holiness, the way unto you shall be made holy. So if you're a holy person, you walk that bridge. Nothing unholy can follow you. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. And this is what it says. Those who are what? For the God of Israel. Fools cannot enter in. Unholy people, unclean. You can't bring them with you. I know you're trying to bring your mom, your dad, your husband, your auntie, your uncle, and they're all uncircumcised, all these things, or worship multiple gods. They're trying to stuff your face with turkey, trying to stuff your face with prawns. You can't bring them. You cannot bring them to serve this God. You cannot, it says here, the highway is made for you, not for everybody, to walk on this highway. I love that part, because it just shows exactly what our Elder Shadow has been teaching all these years. Come out of her. Be ye saved. Be redeemed by our God. Understand, he's called you back unto himself. He said, why you want to walk this way? This pace where you're walking, it's death. It's leading to the path of death. There is a narrow road. That's the bridge. There's a wide road. That's our motorway. Okay, we call it motorway. That's a 50 lanes going in the same direction. Multiple stacked up. Highway is one lane, I'm afraid. This is it. The highway is one lane. Choose. As the song goes, wide is the road unto where? Destruction. Narrow the path of truth. That's the song and that's the scripture, that's the psalm. Let's read on. It says, no lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall what? Walk there. Do you understand what it said? No ravenous beast. I love our fathers when they make these scriptures, because that's what they see in how people are. Ravenous beasts. Lions just want to devour, eat blood. Uncircumcised, unclean. No ravenous beast. That's no ravenous beast. You want to be so you're a ravenous beast? And the ransom of the Lord shall return and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. Elder Andel spoke about the Zion train. Zion, that path, where are you going? Elder Michael said, the bridge. You got to get on the bridge and on the train to it. I like it. All the same thing. You see, because a train has to run on the right tracks. So the bridge and the tracks is one. You can't run a normal train on a tube train in the UK. It doesn't work that way. A Canadian train or a tram, for example. Learn needs a tram and then you run a train. It doesn't work. They have to be compatible. The bridge and the train have to be in sync together. And now you get to your destination. Oh, what a wonderful scripture. What a wonderful scripture. It's saying, get on the right path. That's what it's saying. Get on the bridge. But you know what's normally under bridges, right? Under bridges, you have all kind of snake, crocodiles, things that will try to pull you down. Pause and says, let me try and get this one's ankle. You have to understand where you are. It's under your feet. And they're going to come sneakily. And they're going to, why is the term used? You shall be able to tread upon what? The what? The scorpion, the adder. You shall what? Trample under feet. Where are you going? Where are you? They're trying to get you. If I can get the heel, let me just grab the heel. I can slow them down. Let me just bite them. I can slow them down. Where is your feet? Should be shod with the gospel of the preparation of peace. Ephesians 6:10, put on the whole armor of God so you can withstand against all these things that will try to damage you and stop you from walking on that bridge to getting over to the other side. Don't build your home on the bridge. I've never seen a house built on a bridge. I don't know. If you have, please let me know. I've never seen that before. But you've got to cross over. You've got to get to your destination. but the only way is there is a way. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's turn to the book of John, chapter 14. I have it right here. John chapter 14. I'm going to read from the first verse and take you somewhere. It says, "Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you." So we understand Jesus the Christ is speaking to who? Is this God talking to God or to himself? Okay. That's another one. "And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know." Listen to what he said. The way. There's only one way. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? There's one bridge you have to go across. You can't be a robber, a thief, and try to come in through the back door or through, if I take a back road to there's no back roads. There's no back roads. This is the way you're supposed to go. Why? Because the instruction by the man himself, by God himself, has said this is the way. Let me read on. "Then Thomas saith unto him, Lord, we know not whither thou goest, and how can we know the way?" Thomas should have known better. "Jesus saith unto him, I am the way. I am the direction, the bridge, the path. This is what you do. And on that, this is what needs to happen. The truth and the life. That means there's a process. I am the way. You got to do what I do. You got to feel what I feel. You got to come the way I'm instructing you to do, because in John 17, I've given them the words of you, my Father. What you said to me, I'm giving to them. So what does this say? There is one way. Don't tell me about the Jesus and clap your hands and you're going. No one's going to heaven. If you never come from heaven, you're not going there. That's what everybody doesn't like, but it's the truth. That's why he said the truth. That's the truth. You're not going to heaven. And he says, I'm the life. What is the life? The way, the Israelite life. The Israelite life. And that you will only know how to do that, how to be, how to live that way at the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. As our elder Shadrach has taught us, redeemed us, brought us back to our Father again. This is how you live your life. Hence the reason why I mentioned about the cultural discussion we had with young Tiana, Princess Tiana. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? This is very important for us to understand. You've got to put everything together. It works together. You've got to live the life of an Israelite. It's not enough to say I'm Israelite and I can walk frivolously and everything and all this. It's not right. There is a way to be. There is processes. There is culture that we must uphold in this nation. It is part of being on that and compliant with the bridge terms. You know, when you go to cross over a bridge, you've got terms and conditions. You know that, right? You've got your car weight, your load. If you're going to go over a certain place, I'm sorry, you've got 50 million people in a 4-seater car, it doesn't work. You've got to pay the toll. You've got to pay money. You've got to check your tires. If you've got oil leak, if you leak, can you break down? If you've got insurance, you've got all these things you need to cross, even to go on the highway. So how you think that you're able to come and call yourself an Israelite? You're not circumcised. You don't call him the right name. You wear tassels. I don't understand these things. You come with a different philosophy. You abuse your women. You have no respect even for yourselves. You curse people out in all the world. What's your qualification? Please, my friend, stay on this side of the bridge permanently. That is it. You have to understand what we're saying. Now let's read on. It says, Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Again, look, no man cometh unto my Father. That's what he's saying. The Father, but by me. By what? By my way. By what? The truth and the life. By me. By the way how I'm living, how I'm showing you. You cannot even attempt. The God of Israel is over there. You're over there. How do you expect to get from A to B if you don't understand this? You don't even know the bridge. He was what? Circumcised. You understand what I'm saying? He sat the Passover. He sat the feasts. He did all these things. He was an Israelite. And that's why he's an example. The example. You want to get to the Father? Okay. But you got to understand a few things. Know who I am. Know what the truth is. And then you have to live that life until you die as Officer Charmaine said in Luke 16, with, again, for those maybe joining, with the rich man and Lazarus. He lived to the end and welcomed into Abraham's bosom. Beautiful story. Let's read on. If ye had known me, ye should have known my Father also, and from henceforth ye know him and have seen him. Philip now saith unto him, Lord, show us the Father, and it sufficeth. Sounds just like Elder Michael's people. Do you understand what I mean? It sounds just like him. Oh my gosh. Show us. I need to see something. I need to see it, and then I'll believe. Sounds like us. How many of us, I've got a good friend and he will say, show me, show me, show me. I don't believe you, show me. I got to show, I got to prove. I said, what's wrong? I said, but when I read the scriptures and I had the memory of, wow, man, and you begin to connect how we are as a people. You see yourself here. Elder Shadrach said, you see yourself in the book. It's true. Sometimes I read this book, I said, sounds like me to a degree. And maybe some of you. But let's read on. He said, Jesus saith unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? Philip, man, you're my friend. We've been together so long, man. You still don't understand these things? Elder Shadrach's here. I've been with you so long, 35 years. You don't understand who the God of Israel is yet? You're asking me these questions? Listen to what's been said. And now he goes on to say, he says, look, he that have seen me have seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, show us the Father? Believest thou not that I am in the Father and the Father in me? And the words that I spake unto you, that I speak not of myself. You understand? He didn't speak of himself. But why? But the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the work. You have to understand these scriptures. You know, there's something about humility in this nation. And it talks about, read the book of Philippians 1-4. Very good, very good. It talks about exalt your brother rather than yourself. And this is exactly what Jesus the Christ has done right here. And if you understand who he was, he took no glory for himself. No glory. He exalted the Father. He esteemed his Father. Now, let me read on. It says, believe me that I am in the Father and the Father in me, or else believe me for the very work's sake. Even if you don't believe, just believe the works, because the works is done by who? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Always our Father. He is the God. He has shown us how to get to him. How, God of Israel? How do I get to you? I've got a million bridges. These bridges once said, okay, if I sell my soul, I become rich. The next bridge says, okay, I've got to do this and I'm rich. The next one said, okay, you got to bow down 50 times and you, all these things. I was just sharing with the priest, with Elder Andel. I said, hey, there's a new prophet in town. Have you heard of him? Oh, there's a new prophet. Oh my gosh. All these prophets, sorry. I just find it hilarious. All these prophets, there's tons of them. I can't remember his name, but now he has 3 men stand up there, foolish themselves. They have big palm trees in front of them on the floor in the sand. He had chicken, black chicken. He tied the chicken behind them on their back. And it's like the chicken were incapacitated. I said, what evil is going on here? And he's talking, he's foolish, he's babbling, pure iniquity. Elder Andel was saying, it's iniquity, it's evil. He's doing things and then they execute the chicken on their back, get them to lie down, and then he's washing their feet and all these ceremonies. Why? Because they said they want wealth. Look at the bridge they're going and they've crossed. They're just polluted. That's why the God of Israel said back in the book of Isaiah, 34, 35, not one unclean person can pass on that highway. You cannot. Understand what our Father is saying. He said, be holy. What that man, that prophet, or P, small p, and he's a prophet of Baal, of the dead. That's who he is. We don't like that, right? That's what he did. Him and his people cannot enter on that highway. You should be flamed up. You should be charged up and say, God of Israel, thank you, even from our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, even Israel, and for our elder Shadrach, elder Excluding, and elder Michael. You have to understand these things. You have to understand that because there's Elder Officer Charmaine said it. I'm velcroing onto her lesson. We have a very, I can't remember. Always forgetting. I don't know how you forget so much. You're 17, you forget. How you forget you're 17 years old? You're young, you're energetic, 21, you forgot. Always remember how you became who you are today. But remember where you came from to become that man today, that woman today, that great Israelite son, that great Israelite daughter, the princess, the princess. It's not by might nor by power, but it's by the Spirit of our God, even the Spirit of truth, who knows all things. Let me finish this. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. I'm going to leave that Spirit of truth, and he shall teach you all things. And you'll do great things. You'll move mountains. You'll raise the dead. You'll be, oh my gosh. He said back in the book of Isaiah, he said, you'll get the lame man to walk. The power will be within you. Why? Because you become holy. You're walking the path of truth. And you're living the life. Because while you understand that the Christ, Jesus the Christ, is the way, an Israelite way, it encompasses everything. That is it. Let me read on. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. It's not rocket science. Elder Andor described this the other week. If you ask, say, hey, a good recommendation, and you're very good at work, and Teacher Brian is trying to get a job in a big corporate company that Elder Michael works at, and Elder Michael says, listen, just mention my name, Michael Melchizedek, Professor Elder, and everything is going to be fine. Teacher Brian goes out there and says, hey, I was highly recommended by Michael Melchizedek, Elder Michael. Oh, we know him very well. Hey, he's one of the superstars here. You're going to get the job. Why? Because you come highly recommended. The man's name you mentioned is close to the CEO, the owner. That's what this is. That's what Elder Amdo said. Explain. Go back 2 lessons ago or so. You have to understand that. In his name. Now you're operating on where? You're asking in his name. You're in the way of an Israelite. According to the rules. You're understanding the truth. He is the begotten Son of the Father. Now you're living the life he lived, which was he kept the law, statutes, and commandments. You're now on the right path. You're able to cross that bridge. There is nothing that can destroy you. Nothing can harm you. I've got to read on. I have to read on because you get excited. You get excited when you're teaching about our God and you feel the power of our God with the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. And you begin to understand everything that elders taught us, Elder Shattuck has taught us. It just falls into place. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. It just comes together and you're able to stand back and look at the picture and say, my gosh, wow, look at the bridge I had to cross. Look at this bridge. When you begin to look at the picture, you see all the scorpions, the snakes, the alligators, everything is up there. It's a nice picture trying to grab at you. But you're walking on what? The path of truth. You are the light in darkness. You're the light in darkness. They'll flee. They have to run from you. You're walked, you're encamped about you. The saints are with you. The saints are with you. You read Ephesians 6, verse 10. The armor of God. The truth. The sword of the Spirit. The breastplate of righteousness. Loins girt about you with truth. The helmet of salvation. How could you not fight for our God? He's given so much to you. So much. Now you're able to go across and fight anything while you're on truth. You're walking on truth. Wide is the gate, if you want. It's welcoming. It's welcoming. Everybody's welcome. Clean, unclean, circumcised, even uncircumcised. Doesn't mean to say you're circumcised, I'm an Israelite. No. Read the book of Acts again. Read it again. Doesn't mean to be a circumcision of or even Corinthians. Doesn't mean to say that you're circumcised of the flesh. That means that you're an Israelite. What about your heart? It profits nothing if you don't do the law, statutes, commandments, and judgments that he said comes with that. The agreement, as Elder Michael said, is nullified. It's irrelevant. So let's read on to the book of Zechariah. I like Zechariah. Everybody know that book well? There's so much in that book. But let's get right into it. The book of Zechariah, chapter 8. If you get it, give me a thumbs up because I can't see exactly where it is, but I'm going to get to it just now. So when we're understanding about the God of Israel, we have to understand one thing. There's rules, statutes, and commandments and judgments he's put in place. And the reason why he put them in place is for us to be able to cross the bridge unto him. I cannot find it. It's somewhere here in the book. I had it and then it disappeared. But the book of Zechariah, I've got to read this for you guys. I have to read this for you guys. And if there's any newcomers coming into the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, please, 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 like, comment, subscribe. We have a list out there that an application form you can fill out where we are able to actually contact you, answer your questions. You know, Elder Andor is very creative, guys. Isn't that right? Elder Andor is extremely creative, and he's been pushing and pushing and pushing for this in the nation because he wants to see the growth of this nation. He's pushing it so why our elders' message that he's been given goes out worldwide. We have people from all over the world. Am I wrong, Elder Michael? Elder Michael's giving me the thumbs up and I still can't see Zechariah. Oh, my eyes. My eyes. But even... Wow. And I've just been told, because we are streaming live on all platforms, by the way, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, we even have inquiries from North Korea. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on. You cannot say that our God and his spirit is not with this Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. You can't say that. And also, whilst I'm struggling to find Zechariah, I've got to big up our AV team. AV team. I can't even see Haggai. You're telling me Haggai. I can't even see Haggai. You know? Because I'm up here and when you're going through the motion and I'm feeling, I think I'm seeing people, I don't know. But thank you very much. But I have to big up the AV team. And it's very critical for you all to understand just the work that goes into this. Now, we're streaming for the first time on all 3 platforms, guys. All 3 platforms. This is monumental history in the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. And it was pushed and surged and pushed on by our Elder Andor. But I have to also big up to Teacher Brian, who's been leading that and working with Elder Andor to make sure this goes out on all platforms. And our very own Lennox. Lennox, big up yourself, all right? And even Lewis, a newest member to the AV department. Well done, guys. You know, we well appreciate. And also Abby, a young princess in the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministry. Thank you so much. You do a really, really good job for us. We're able to get our word out across the worldwide. Please put up hand claps for them, fire signs for this team. They do work, they do come in, and they spend a lot of time making sure we can bring this broadcast out to you worldwide. Thank you so much. We are grateful for all your hard work. So I'm going to go now, as my eyes have found it, in the book of Zechariah. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of fun, you know. You know, I haven't got to the stage where I need glasses yet, please. No. You know, I just couldn't quite see it. I'm going to hold off from glasses. I look terrible, I think. But the book of Zechariah, and I'm going to read from verse 20. Book of Zechariah, chapter 8, verse 20. And it reads as thus. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, it shall yet come to pass that there shall come people and inhabitants of many cities. Again, it goes back to our elder Shadrach's mission to teach worldwide. We are the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. And this is what it is, teaching inhabitants worldwide of many cities. Let's read on. And the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, let us go speedily to pray before the Lord and seek the Lord of hosts. I will go also. That makes my hair stand up on ends. Don't laugh at me. I do have hair. I do. It does, because what we're doing is that we are teaching, and we're seeing this very same thing. North Korea. Look how far we're reaching. And they're going to come and say, let us go to this house, the pillar at the border. All the work that our elder Shadrach has gone through, all of the sacrifices, all of the attacks, all of the things that we have to fight, that he has had to endure and fight. Now we're seeing the fruit of that come to pass. All these cities, the inhabitants are saying, let's go to the pillar at the border in the midst of Egypt. Oh my gosh, and let us pray. Let us pray to who? The greatest God of all. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Oh, that is powerful stuff. Verse 22, yea, we're getting even more hotter. Many people and strong nations shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem, here, and to pray before the Lord. You have to understand, where my God's name is, that is where Jerusalem is, and it's here at the pillar of the border. That's his name, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, right here. And they will come, and they're seeking our God, and they will come to pray and bow before his holy altar and come. And we're not talking about any mini-me. We're not talking about the days of old with Jeroboam and they brought the lowest of them to be made priests. We're talking about strong nations, strong people that will show respect and humility to our God. And they will come and they will say, let us go to the house of our God, this God of Israel in Jerusalem. That is serious stuff. And to pray to the Lord, before the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. That should make you, oh my gosh, I lose words sometimes up here. You may notice from time to time. That should make you feel I'm in the right place. Where the God of Israel has sent his messenger of the covenant, even as Elder Michael said, our Elder Shadrach, to take hold the hem of an Israelite and say, I'm going to go with you, because we're going worldwide teaching this message, teaching the truth, showing the way, showing the life. So we're showing the only begotten of the God of Israel. We're showing him to the world. Do you understand what I'm saying? Understand, we're soldiers here, we're protective, but we are showing you how you can come on board the Zion train so you can be on that bridge to truth and to life. There's no other way. Many people think you can get to God just by kneeling on your knees and saying the Our Father. You have a rosary and all these things and all these things. There's no way for you. There's only one way, and he said it's through the Christ. You have to get recommendation. You cannot go into someone's home unless you're brought in to the home. I cannot go to a wealthy person's home and turn up the police or Doug Ford, for example. They just harass me and grab me by my neck and throw me out. I have no entry. I have no way to get in there unless I'm recommended. You cannot come into the Israelite nation worldwide ministries and say, I'm here, I've arrived, show me where your altar is. You'll get slapped down in a very professional way by all of us. You have to understand, there's rules, there's procedure, there's laws, there's culture. You've got to learn about the nation. You've got to understand who we are. Elder Andor set up an excellent system within the nation and the priesthood and the teachers worldwide. You have Samuel, Teacher Anthony, and the various others, Davros, doing a great job in the welcoming committee and welcoming in these new brethren, potential new brethren who would like to serve. They're being sifted. Some may have to wait. Some, yep, you're right on in there. Some are making excellent progress. And you're even on this live feed right now. And that is the right way, because you understand the culture of who we are. You begin to remember now again that spirit within you, something within you is calling you back home. So remember the path that we walked. I may have lived, you may have lived many lifetimes. The spirit within you may have done 300 years. You've learned so much foolishness and you forget, but something triggers in there. I don't know, it seems familiar. Something kind of resonates. Something, I don't know, is drawing me. Yes, the Israelite nation, this makes sense. I listened to a Brethren's Feast, during a Brethren's Feast recently, Keith, and I'm listening to what he said and the testimonies of him and how he came, and he just was at the library over there in Atlanta, and before you know it, he and his entire family are in the Israelite nation. What is it within them that made them feel this is home? They crossed that bridge. That's why. They remembered, my father, I can't fully remember. The spirits may have lived, who knows, done all kind of things, but there's something inside of you that's brought you back home now because you heard our Elder Shadrach's voice. My sheep hear my voice. Do you understand what I'm saying? My sheep hear my voice, the voice of the God of Israel is from and through our elder Shadrach and the Israelite nation worldwide ministries. It's very clear and simple. It's very simple. They know me and you will follow me. Do you understand what a sheep does? A sheep has got undying loyalty. Wherever you go, it's going. It's not going to say, then you have the black sheep. Why is it always black? Why? Why is it always black? The one that wants to be wayward. And then you've got the goat that wants to be even more wayward and even more stubborn. Then they would have to go. It's okay. But those that would hear the voice of our elder Shadrach crying out in the wilderness even, you have to remember, look at poor John. Poor John, what was his dietary requirements? What was his clothes? All for us stubborn, stiff-necked people. All for us. Stephen, they kill him because I like Stephen. They kill him. They persecute the man so badly. Paul, okay, he had to do the job because he was bad at first. But they just wanted to kill the messenger of God, always. But he's there to guide you. Even in the script in the book of Jeremiah said, I took you by the hand and I'm guiding you where to go, but you reject the spirit of our God. You reject the man of our God, of our God. You reject him. That spirit within you, what is it? There's only one way. And you've got to understand, we just read it. He said, we will go with you. He said, why? Because I've heard there is a man, the spirit in that man. He's a Jew, he's an Israelite. And he serves the true and the living God. I must take hold of him. And I'm going to go with you all the way. What did, you know the story of Naomi and Ruth? What did she say? What did she say? My God is your God. Imagine that. Imagine that. How many men and women today can say these things? Your God is my God. I'm coming with you, man. I'm coming. By hook or by crook, I'm going to be there. There's hidden gems in this book. Hidden. But only if you have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, would you understand this. Would you understand what's been said to your spirit? And your spirit takes hold of what it says. And it does something about it. You begin to understand that, wow, this journey I was traveling is the wrong way. You may have done terrible things. Yes. Like the guys go sell their soul for, I don't know, chips, food. Esau gave up his birthright for food. You want food? You have the man out there sell his soul because he wants cars. Or some boys sell their soul for money and fame. What is that? Yet still your soul is going to die a very bad death. Lazarus and the rich man is a wonderful example. And Officer Charmaine laid that out for us. Lazarus and the rich man, he gained the world, but lost his soul forever. He said, our father Abraham said, if they don't hear Moses and the prophets, they ain't going to hear you, though one came from the dead. If they don't hear Elder Shadrach, Elder Andor, Elder Castrilli, and Elder Michael, Officer Charmaine, they ain't going to hear. They ain't going to hear. They ain't going to hear. Don't wait for a sign from the dead like our fathers did. You saw Philip. Show us. Show me now. I want to see it. What did Philip understand? What did he want to do? All of a sudden, okay, hold on. I'm going to show you the Father just now. Clyde's open. What's wrong? Okay, let me transform myself to the Father. What's going on? You have to understand, he said, blessed are those that believe, have not yet seen. You are blessed. You are blessed. So once again, this is the Israelite nation, worldwide ministries. And our God is the greatest God of all. The Lord God of our fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He sent his messenger to teach us how to go and to cross over that bridge onto the other side, into truth and to health and to prosperity, not unto death. So, one of my, as you said, as a little joke, we have a lot of humor here. So, next week is Christmas for some of y'all, but we are going to be here at the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministry teaching the truth, not teaching Christmas. You see how they stole from us and they put a mass on? You understand what I'm trying to say? They fooled you. You fooled. But it's okay. We're here and we're going to show you something wonderful for next week. Don't miss next week's lesson. We're going to teach about the truth, as we always have been. We're just going to magnify even more on that so-called day that Christ was never born. Understand that he was never born on... I feel like to go into it. You understand? But I got to finish up. I have 35 seconds left. But it's not a day. But be here next week at the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries. Again, we're going to be streaming across all platforms. This is great. If you've got the link, send it out to your friends, family, guests. Thank you very much for all that's joined us today. And one more thing. So I'm going to translate this message out to you guys watching live. So they said, Omicron is here, but freeze. They said, and this is true. This has come live and direct from Elder Andor. This is first-hand information. All right? Right? Santa is the super spreader. Kick him out. Don't let him into your home. And with that, brethren, I say peace.
I was down, I had nowhere to go. Head hung down, I was feeling low, so afraid, all alone. Had no place to call my home. I was yearning, truly I was searching for a truth, 'cause one day someone said to me that I should be serving He who is heavenly on this narrow road eternally. Now I found a place to be.
Just a lost child in this world. Child of Jacob, I return. I'm here to serve forever.